And there we go, everyone. We are back again for another fantastic conversation on Friday Night Counter Attack. And this week, you are in for a treat because this is a podcast topic that we've been looking at doing for quite a while now. And I'm really looking forward to going into this topic. And as you can tell by the title, we are doing the all-time Premier League underrated 11 draft. And for this one, we've got quite a good list of people to go through as well. I say quite a good one because I probably would say I'm the weakest link in this lineup today because, of course, we've got Sukhi back today. And with Sukhi, with his Premier League knowledge, I'd say we're on par with Premier League knowledge. If we're talking about Spurs or Man United, we'd know a bit more about our clubs respectively. But Premier League knowledge, we're neck and neck. And I'm really not looking forward to seeing how Sukhi has been sending me warning shots all week in terms of, I've got my team. None of you are picking my 11. This is a draft, Hamz. I'm going to beat you. I'm like, oh, my days. This is not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. But no, Sukhi, good to have you on the podcast again. Been a while, my friend, but I'm glad you're back. How are you doing today?
Look, my bro, appreciate that. I'm always a welcome intro to Friday Night Counter Attack, and I'm glad to be back. And I think you're in for a surprise with my my underrated all-time Premier League 11. So I can't wait to start and tell you my players. You're in for a shock. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm in for a shock in terms of how I'm getting shocked from static from your microphone there, Sukhi. It's crazy right now. But no, it's perfectly. It happens. These things happen, but we're rocking and we're rolling with this one. I'm looking forward to this one. And welcoming back Joshua Donkor, our very friendly friendly neighborhood football commentator and football reporter. I was going to try and make a Spider-Man reference, but with the new Madden web trailer out, I'm not really sure what the direction of Spider-Man is going in. But I know the direction of Joshua Donkor right now is that he's killing it in football commentary in the EFL, and I'm going to hopefully be able to see him a lot more Premier League clubs and bigger matches worldwide going forward. But Joshua, it's good to have you on the podcast, my friend. Are you ready for another beating on this podcast? Because the last time you had a draft, you left in agony because I was there like, yeah, this is a good team from me. And we had Matt from Back of the Net podcast and we had Travis. But before we get into that, Joshua, how are you doing today and how are you doing this week and how's everything going for you from your side?
Yeah, all good, all good. Everything's well. Glad to be back on the pod again. I'm enjoying it. And I have to be honest, I'm itching to get ready because last time I looked at my back four last time. I thought that was good. But the midfield and the strike force is lacking. So I'm glad I'm able to kind of have another bite and another crack to beat you, man.
Now, I'm looking forward to this one as well because literally it's like we're looking at some of these players and we're like, we missed out so many good players from our 21st century retired legends draft, as it were. And this week with our all-time Premier League draft, underrated draft, I should say, it's going to be quite fun because we've got a few rules and a few challenges to overcome. So the first one is we are going to all be playing a 4-4-2 variation formation. So it can be whatever formation in a 4-4-2. So it's perfectly fine if you want to do wingers, if you want to do a diamond, however you want to go, the choice is yours. Everyone, as always, to play along at home and to send us yours via social media. So by all means, carry on with that. We are going to stick with the one player per club rule. So if you are talking about a player, for example, if I go for someone like, for example, Frank Lampard, and you're going to be choosing Frank Lampard from Man City, that's not going to run because his main career was at Chelsea as well, which is going to be quite fun. So if you are going to choose someone, you have to choose someone from rather their prime or where you thought they had a really good impact as well. And the third rule, because we've got three people, this is going to be very subjective. It's a subjective podcast where both the other people who are not choosing this player get to have a look at maybe overruling the player. So for example, if I then say my wild card is David Beckham, Sukhi will then come in with a straight slide tackle and be like, Hamz, no way, fam. No way. David Beckham is world class. He was at it in his day. Top 3 in the Ballon d'Or in 1999. He is not underrated. So we are talking about players who are underrated, but we're not talking about players who may not have been the best ever players, but we can't just throw them in for the sake of trying to pull a fast one, basically. So if you're going to pick someone like as an Andy Cole, for example, 187 Premier League goals, is he really underrated?
Yes. Yes,
I'm going to have to agree to disagree on that one. But that's what we're kind of going for in this one as well. So Sukhi and Joshua, you get to call out my choices. Obviously, Sukhi and I will call out Joshua's choices, and Joshua and I will call out Sukhi's choices as well. So if we're going for a player, and for example, both of you try and overrule the other person, we then have to put our backing forward as to why they're underrated And not just because of what we think, we have to kind of consider the whole consensus of their career as well. It's going to be fun because there will be a lot of challenges and a lot of pushback on this one. But without further ado, we're going to start with our wild cards, and then we're going to start going from back to front. So goalkeeper, defense, midfield, and attack. And Sukhi, let's start with you, my friend. Premier League underrated 11 of all time. You have first choice in the draft for your wild card, and then we'll go to Joshua, then we'll go to me, then we'll crack on to our goalkeepers. Where's your first pick going, Sukhi, and why?
It can be any position, right?
Any position.
Yep. Sorted. All right, my wild card is he's more of like a CF just behind a striker, and his name is Kevin Nolan for Bolton.
Ooh, Kevin Nolan. Those days at Bolton of Sam Allardyce and Kevin Davis and Stelios Giannakopoulos and JJ Kocher. Joshua, I think it's got us there. It's definitely underrated and definitely underappreciated. And for me personally, the fact that he went to play for West Ham in the Championship and then got promoted with them the next season afterwards shows how talented he was and what experience he had as a professional footballer in England. So I'm happy with that one, Joshua. What do you think?
Yeah, go for it. Tidy player, good, solid Premier League player who you'd say deserved a bit more. Maybe in an era where he could get picked up by a top 4, top 6 side. His time at Newcastle was good and kind of recreated it at West Ham as well, like you just said. With Big Sam, and showed he can play a bit of football. To be honest, yeah, I think that's a very solid shout. Surprised that he's gone for his wild card. I don't know who else you got in your locker, but yeah, good choice.
You're gonna see the theme.
Yeah, I think you're going
to see
a
theme in this.
It's gonna be a Brexit theme, isn't it, Sukhi? I know it.
Who knows?
It's gonna be funny with this one as well. But yeah, nice shout with Kevin Nolan. Joshua, go ahead. Who's your wild card? Let's hear it, man.
Andy Cole. Andy Cole for me, Hamz away. I know you're gonna over a slide tackle me straight away.
It's gonna be a slide tackle with a yellow card.
He's by far the most underrated footballer in the Premier League. Every record, goal scoring wise, Andy Cole pops up. Man City, Chelsea on the weekend. Haaland gets a brace. He's 1 away from 50 for being the quickest guy. Whose record is he breaking? Andy Cole's. Other than Rooney, Kane, and Shearer,
and
Aguero, Andy Cole. If we went on a TARDIS 10 years ago, Andy Cole second. Do you know what I mean? Won everything. Won the treble. Influential in the treble. Was excellent at Newcastle. Was good at Blackburn. If I'm correct, forgive me. I think he went for, at the time, was the highest transfer record as well when he came to Manchester United. I think that is correct.
Yeah.
Listen, he's by far and he gets forgotten. When you talk about when we did our all-time list, he didn't get a honorable mention in terms of the retired 21st century players. When you look at, if you Google right now, best Premier League players of all time, best Manchester United players, not all time, or at least Premier League, he's never in there. But when we're talking about records and we're talking about goals, and also that's without penalties, by the way, didn't take a penalty. So I think he's underrated because you got to tell people about him.
You got
Jamie Carragher. If it was Henry, what goals in Henry? If it was Henry, if it was Shearer, if it was Rooney, Haaland's getting that record. You know what record he's breaking. Do you know what I mean? For example, Salah's, Alan Shearer's, even the 50-goal record last year that Haaland broke was Andy Cole's record in a single season. So all the records are hold, in my opinion, for Andy Cole, but he never gets a mention. So that's why I think he's the wild card. I think he's the most underrated player, I think, in the Premier League history because he should be rated higher. I rest my case.
It's a good case you made. Sukhi, you're going to make the judgment on this one because I'm torn with this one as well. So are you going to accept Joshua's case for 187 goal scoring machine Andy Cole for being underrated, or is he quite highly rated? Or what do we think of this one, Sukhi?
Listen, it's very debatable, but we have to give this to Joshua because, I mean, he did not get his flowers whatsoever during his time of peak performance, right? He only got his flowers afterwards when people realized that he scored 187 goals, excluding the penalties, because he never took them. So imagine if he did take penalties, then he would have been on 200 plus, right? And we'd be going in him to be like the best English striker, this, that, the other. And the fact that he never really got taken to the England squad shows that, right? And I think
didn't really start, right?
Yeah, exactly. We missed the trick with that. Yeah, so 100%. Yeah, I've got to give that to Joshua there.
Thank you, Sukhi. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Sukhi on that one because it was something where we can pick the best of underrated players, and we're not just gonna pick crap players throughout this whole list. And obviously, Andy Cole is nowhere near crap and is nowhere near forgotten about. But for the people who don't know about Andy Cole, they always have to have it explained to them. So for that reason, yeah, I'm gonna agree with Sukhi and Joshua. You have your wild card in Andy Cole.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Nah, nicely done, my friend. My wild card is I'm going for another striker who burst onto the scene at Arsenal Football Club in the late 90s. He came as a young Frenchman with the world at his feet, and he just came and looked like he tore up Ian Wright's way of playing football, because he then overtook Ian Wright as the number 9 striker in front of Dennis Bergkamp. And I'm going to have to go for... This is a tricky one because I'm not sure where I'm going with this one. I'm going for Nicolas Anelka. Nicolas Anelka, for me, highly underrated. What a baller he was. People saying he was better than Henry in his younger days as well. And Thierry Henry's getting talked about as one of the best ever players in Premier League history. But Nicolas Anelka, when he burst onto the scene, was signed ahead of Thierry Henry, and he was also the main man at 17, 18 years old. He scored 17 goals in 35 games for Arsenal in the 1999 season, where they finished second behind Manchester United's treble-winning side as well. He then moved over to different Premier League clubs. He went to Liverpool for a season or two, went to Manchester City before the oil money, and then he ended up at Bolton after going to Europe a couple of times. And at Bolton, scored 11 goals in the Premier League in 35 games and 10 goals in 18 games in 2008. He then became the top scorer at Chelsea with 19 goals, outscoring Cristiano Ronaldo in 2009, respectively. My question is, which Nicolas Anelka can I use? Because remember my rule that I said earlier. I can't just pick him when he was at West Brom or Liverpool or Man City. I still have to pick a good version of Nicolas Anelka. But I personally think I want Nicolas Anelka from Arsenal. But I'm not going to use a Chelsea one, because I think with Chelsea is good, but Nicolas Anelka at Arsenal is something different. Joshua, what do you think? Is he underrated, and should I use him from Arsenal?
Yeah, I think he's underrated, 100%. And, I almost forgot about his Bolton stint. Remember that goal, the Reebok cutting his right, went top corner against Arsenal, funny enough. I'm not going to do the celebration, but we all know the celebration. But fair enough, I disagree. I thought he was excellent at Chelsea. And I think his stint at Chelsea was underrated. Brilliant at Arsenal. But once he went to Liverpool, he went to Real Madrid, of course, as well. That's where the form kind of dipped and Henry took over, and that's kind of forgotten. So I would accept Arsenal also, by the way, but I would use him for his Chelsea stint, because I thought in that 2010 team, where I think Chelsea scored plus 90 goals, pushed United to the end. They won it by 1 point, but they were smashing teams like 8-0, 9-0, Sunderland, and he was scoring goals. Yeah, and he was scoring goals again. And you think about early 90s, that's 2010. I'm not great at maths, but that's a good 10-year stint, if I'm correct.
Call him Michael Dapper. We need him for this bit.
So that at a high level. So he's played for top clubs as well. So to be honest, I'll be happy with any other than Liverpool and Anelka.
Yeah,
I would be probably happy to put him anywhere. But I do think he's underrated. He doesn't get he's not. When someone says top 5 Premier strikers, no one says Anelka, do they? Or Andy Cole.
Yeah, it's true. Sukhi, agree or disagree? Going for Arsenal, Anelka's perfectly fine for me. Happy with that?
Yeah, I wouldn't choose Arsenal. I'd say Bolton, because I think that's where everyone thought it was going to be the end of his career, right? They thought his career suicide, that he was joining Bolton, and look how brilliant he played from Bolton, and then he made that move to Chelsea, right? I think I got the timeline right.
Yeah.
I think he was mostly underrated at Bolton, because I think everyone critics writ him off completely. But when he went to Bolton, had a fantastic one season, and then City made that big move to Chelsea, and he did wonders for them, right? So I'm more than happy to give it. Yeah, but I'd say Bolton. I'd say out of the 3 teams.
Yeah, other than Liverpool stint, you could have anyone. I'll be honest, Bolton, Chelsea, or Arsenal. It's up to you, to be honest, Hamz.
I'll happily take Bolton. Then it'll make it easier for me, and I need the permission from the boys there as well. But yeah, Nicolas Anelka in his Bolton days, 2 seasons, 2 double-figure season as well, and he left mid-season in that second season to move to Chelsea. So yeah, nicely done, Nicolas Anelka. You're in my team. Misunderstood, Nicolas Anelka, Netflix documentary out now. Only on one streaming service, which is Netflix. Goalkeepers, Sukhi, let's hear it. Where are we going with this one? Are we going for a Brexit one, or are we going for something different entirely with your one?
Mate, it's different entirely. Yeah, it's good from you so much. I'm going for the man, the myth, the legend from Wigan Athletic. Saved them from relegation, Ali Al Habsi.
No, man, you can't be taking man's Ali Al Habsi.
I'm taking him.
That was my keeper. I was like,
no way.
Yeah, Ali Al Habsi was my Omani legend in this team. It was a streets will never forget player and an underrated goalkeeper. killing it. And the worst thing is, we do a list basically when we prepare for some of these things. He was not on that list intentionally because I thought, oh, they're never going to get him. They're never going to get our Hamzy. And you got him. Great shout. Fair play, Sukhi. Fair play. I'm happy with that. Josh, you happy with that?
Yeah, of course.
Good man. Go on, Sukhi. Tell us about our Hamzy. What's he like?
No, I was just going to say, I think that season, I think it was 09, 2010, and mate, Wigan were pretty much in the mud, really, and they should have been relegated 2 seasons before without him making those saves in like key games or conceding, say, 3+ goals going away to like United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea. He managed to save them at some point, and I think it was the last game last game of the season at Wigan. I can't remember who against, but he pretty much saved him in that game, and they've survived relegation. So got to put him in there. And I mean, yeah, you can see the theme in my team where I'm going with this. So yeah, got to put him in.
I'm liking this one as well. Joshua, where are we going with your goalkeeper?
I'm gonna go for Jussi Jääskeläinen, the Bolton goalkeeper.
We've all used Bolton players straight away. I love this one.
Listen, Bolton in those early, that Big Sam days, you come to kick ball, you're having a good time. Ballers across the field. But he was solid. Some of the saves he would make at critical times, match-winning saves. And another one, the theme of this pod's going to be a lot of players just didn't get picked up with those, top 4 sides at the time before Man City were bought and became relevant. And it was just 4 clubs at the top, and Spurs trying to knock on the door for top 4. But this is another type of player that could have been picked up, could have been a replacement, for Peter Schmeichel at the time, or maybe when Man United had struggles after Tim Howard. From Seaman to Amunia, my bad, and even before Czech went to Chelsea. So he was superb to me, and he's a very, very solid keeper. Did fall off a little bit when he went to West Ham and Wigan, in his back end of his career. But at Bolton, he was solid, and good Finnish goalkeeper.
No, nice.
Happy that, guys.
More than happy. Perfectly fine with Jääskeläinen. To make up my goalkeepers, I'm going to my local team. Not where I'm actually from, but where I'm actually living at the moment. So hopefully you don't track down my IP address when I give this away. We're going to Stoke City. And I'm going early with Stoke City because I'm going for a goalkeeper who I believe had a really good time at Stoke City. I'm going to go for Asmir Begovic. And not just because he follows me on LinkedIn and he likes my posts on LinkedIn and that he's actually hired one of my friends for his goalkeeping academy, which I'm not shouting out intentionally. It's actually an unintentional plug. But the fact that Asmir Begovic once scored a goal, a Premier League goalkeeper scored a goal, which is insane. And he scored it literally from his own box, which is insane. But yeah, Asmir Begovic, man, he's been a backup keeper for a good number of years. He's now playing at QPR, so still playing, but he's been a backup keeper for like 6 years, basically. Which I really don't think he would deserve because he was really good at Stoke. He then went to Chelsea to be a backup to Courtois. He could have done so much better. Went to AC Milan, went to Bournemouth, went to Everton, and you're just like, nah, man, you're better than that. You're definitely better than that. And it's still not coming to my podcast. So Asmir Begovic, make sure you join my podcast soon, man. We need to have you for a conversation about how amazing you were as a goalkeeper and a trailblazer in terms of, we don't really see many Bosnian players in professional football kill it for a good number of years in different leagues. And we may talk about 1 or 2 later on. Sukhi, I know who you're thinking about already. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to have to go for Asmir Begovic as my number 1 goalkeeper. Good with that?
Nice. Yep. I was at the QPR Bristol City game on Saturday. He was captaining and playing 0-0. Kept a clean sheet.
Jeez, that's what I like to hear, man. Asmir Begovic is still doing bits in the championship. Right back. Joshua, go ahead. First choice right back. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going straight in and have a big hitter. Cesar Azpilicueta.
Using your Chelsea pick already?
Yeah. Chelsea are not that good. I'm joking. No offense to Chelsea here. Just you've had really good footballers over the times, and you're going to appreciate the captain that left you in the summer. Another player who's won a lot, and we're talking about Premier League 11s. Cesar Azpilicueta, who's got Spanish imports into the Premier League, doesn't get a look in. But also, I think he was a defender that came at the back end of Chelsea's real dominance to the Premier League. We're talking about when Mourinho came in and they tried to win it 3 in a row and they got to, back-to-back European Cup final. Well, they didn't get back-to-back. They lost in Moscow, got close in 2009. But then to win so much and then be dominant, because he also plays a centre-back a few times, but he was aggressive on the ball. And he was a real leader. We all know that, John Terry's a massive leader for Chelsea and captain. But Cesar Hayes Equator, he picked that mantle up really well, and the trophies he won, and he saw the tribute in the summer for when he left. It really, that was one of the big departures for Chelsea, considering all the players that did leave. That's the one that kind of cut deep, but the one that was kind of needed because he had done his time in his career, and I think he's had a marvelous football career in the Premier League. Not many fullbacks and defensive Spanish defenders in the Premier League have produced what he's done. So yeah, I know he's really good, but I don't think he gets his flowers.
No, I like that one as well. Sukhi, you happy with that one? Asmirbegovic. No, not Asmirbegovic. Says Azpilicueta right back, right? Happy with that one?
Yep. Why has he gone quiet?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's just a lag. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry, Joshua. Sukhi's still here. But yeah, no. Azpilicueta.
I'll put my thumbs up. All right. I'll put my thumbs up. Hopefully it freezes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that as well. We'll just do thumbs up. Everyone who's listening, we apologize, but you know if it's bad if we're going to start complaining, which will be all good as well. Sukhi, first choice right back. Where are you going with this one?
Okay, boys, I'm gonna throw you off completely. This is where it happens, the derailment. I'm gonna go for a guy who never got his flowers, but he was a good African right back, and his name is Pascal Chimbonda for Spurs.
Here's your Spurs pick.
Yeah,
you're going for Chimbonda as your Spurs pick.
Of course.
Didn't he play at Wigan? You could have just used him at Wigan.
I wouldn't use that. Hamz, have a knife for Wigan.
Oh man.
Bolton,
Wigan, Spurs have been used already by Sukhi. This is crazy. Oh my days.
It's even better, boys. It's even better.
This is gonna be so much fun. But no, Chimbonda, great player. Someone who definitely was underrated as well, in his heyday. And this is gonna be fun because
just solid Premier League right back. That's what it is. It's a solid Premier League right back. Yeah, he made an abundance of appearances. Just did a job. Don't get me wrong. He used to get absolutely raided by Ronaldo, but it is what it is. I mean, like the guy is
who didn't basically.
Premier League. Yeah, pretty much like that.
My right back. I'm not sure I'm going with this one, but I don't want to use my Man United one. I just don't want to use it because it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm not going to go for Man City because there's a Man City player I could use, but I don't want to use it for the sake of it's just going to make not much sense at all. Oh no. This is painful, man. This is so painful. I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do it. I swear. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to have to do it. We're going to. Actually, no, I can't play him there. Actually, that's a lie because when the team I want to pick him for, he never actually played there. Actually, forget it. I'm going to do it. Antonio Valencia for Manchester United at right back because I wanted him at right mid, but I wanted another Man United player there. I wanted Wes Brown there. So, do we go Wes Brown or do we go Antonio Valencia? Because I'm kind of good my hand away. I want both of them in there. But I don't want to use a Man United player. So I've said my piece. Wes Brown, right back. Done. That's my Man United player done. Yeah. Moving on. Moving on. I've given my hand away there, but just by saying it. But yeah, Wes Brown, right back. Underrated player. Without injuries, he definitely would have been one of England's main right backs after Gary Neville, especially. But just wasn't the case. But yeah, moving on from Wes Brown. Big fan of him. Centre backs. First choice centre back. I'll go for centre back number one. I'm using my Liverpool pick, and I'm using a player that I think didn't get appreciated as much because there was a certain someone in his way all the time in the team. I'm going to go for Daniel Agger at centre back.
No, that's my number one pick. My only Liverpool pick. Why?
This is crazy. I've got Joshua
Liverpool pick. Damn it.
Music to my ears that Joshua agrees. I'm glad you agree it's an underrated pick. So I'm happy with that one. But yeah, Sukhi, first choice centre back. Where are you going with this one?
So boys, I'm going to surprise you a bit here. So I'm going to go with I mean, we're not doing the one player per club rule. We can go with anything, right?
No, we are one player per club.
Or one player per. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to go with this pick, and I mean, it was an unusual choice. I mean, he got signed by Chelsea at some point of his career. But I think this guy, like, God knows how he played in the Premier League for so long. I mean, I'm just looking at it from how many appearances he's made. He's made quite a lot, and he's played for a lot of teams in the Prem, and he's been shifted about. And his name is Tal Ben Hassaim. for QPR.
Tell Ben how
He's my centre.
You're rolling this back, man.
Tell Ben how
Oh my God, I can't wait to see Sukhi's team when he's finished. Oh,
Mate.
wow.
This is peak Barclays. We're going for the peak era of Barclays Premier League.
This is proper Barclays.
Sukhi's been watching Premier League years on Sky Sports right now. I love it. I know where he's going with this one. This is fantastic. I'm happy with that. Great shout, Sukhi. Nicely done there. Yeah, Joshua.
Right?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I mean, he's made a lot of appearances, underrated, and he went to Chelsea. So for a free agent as well. So you can't go wrong with that.
Avram Grant loved him as well, which is crazy.
What a throwback that is. Sorry.
Go on, Joshua. First choice centre back, and then your second choice centre back. So you're back to back.
My next one's very...
So my partnership's going to be Breda Hangeland for Fulham. Hamza?
Yeah, I'm happy with Breda Hangeland. Happy with that one as well. Quite comfortable with how his he could have gone to Arsenal, I think, in that time for Fulham. He's a really good player, and around 20-30 million pounds he was valued at, but they just never sold him at the right time, and then he just ended up going out the back door exit instead of being someone who they could have sold and got a lot more money for as well, respectively. So nicely done there with Breda Hangeland. Who's your second choice at back?
So I'm going to go for someone who's currently playing still, because you took Aga away from me.
How dare you?
I'm going to go with Ben Mee for Brentford at the moment, because I think he's a really good Premier League defender. I think he's good. It's very good area, of course, but he reads the game well, a threat in the box, and I think he's one of those players that he could easily been picked up, and he has been picked up by a solid top 10 Premier League side. But you could knock him, play for Villa, he could play for Brighton potentially, and in someone more of that ilk, and he can do a job. So I looked at a few old school ones, but I'm going to go Hangeland and Ben Mee as my centre back partnership. Is that yeah?
I'm happy with that one. Yeah, really good shout there. To partner Daniel Agger for me, this is going to be, how can I explain it? Not fond of this guy, but I am going to throw him in because I kind of want to get rid of this club in a way as well. So not a fan, but I'll back him in a way. So I'm going to, actually no, I'm not sure you'll find him underrated, but I find him underrated, definitely.
Yeah.
We're going to Newcastle United. We're going to the late 2000s, early 2010s, and we're going to someone who's got a long, frizzy hair, Argentinian passport, played in the national team for a good number of years as well. And we're going to go for Fabrizio Colacini as my centre-back to Daniel Agger, because I can, again, not fond of Newcastle United, but there are lots of players I could have picked, which I probably should be picking, but I want to get rid of these defenders early. So yeah, Fabrizio Colacini, I'm considering him as underrated in this team as well. It should be good fun. And there are a lot of players out there who annoyingly are injury prone, and they get injury prone and then they just never come back to the way that they should be playing. And Fabrizio Colacini was someone who always ended up playing in the right positions at the right time, and really happy with the way that Daniel Agger and Fabrizio Colacini are my centre-backs for the time being as well. So I don't mind that at all, which would be good fun. I honestly wanted to pick Gary Cahill, but then it would have been me using my Chelsea pick or my Bolton pick, because Bolton I've already used with Nicolas Anelka, and Chelsea, I want to use that later down the line as well. And also there was a certain team in London that I wanted to use, but I can't because I'm banking on this guy being my striker. So I'm going to have to wait until the case as well, which will be good fun. So as Sukhi reconnects his internet, he'll join us whenever he's back, which is perfectly fine. Joshua, go ahead and choose your first choice left back. Where are we going with this one?
Go Leighton Baines. I think he's a fine fullback in the Premier League.
Are you going Leighton Baines from Wigan or from Everton?
I'm going to go Wigan.
Wigan, nicely done.
I
think I saved you there.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go Wigan because, of course, it's the stepping stone to go to Everton. But he stood out like a sore thumb. The power in his game, the free kicks, cracking challenges, aggressive, and he went on to become a really top fullback, and just bombing up and down the field. When you think about left backs, you're going to think about your Patrice Evridge, Gael Clichy's, your Ashley Coles, of course, Roberto Carlos, if you're going to go away from the Premier League. I'm not comparing Baines to Roberto Carlos, but if you want someone who's solid,
they both scored free kicks though as well. So
yeah, and you want a bit of finesse, solid and finesse, and some tactical awareness, because you've got a lot of these fullbacks these days and across the years, you could just go one way, he could go the other way. And that's why for me, Leighton Baines from Wigan, because he was a a real breath fresh air when he got promoted up. And you're thinking, oh, he's a player here. So yeah, I'm going to go Leighton Baines, Wigan.
Nicely done, nicely done. For my left back, you actually mentioned him as well, so I'm gonna have to throw him in there. Gael Clichy is my left back, so I'm going for Gael Clichy from Manchester City, because we've not used Manchester City. The way I was thinking in my head was I wanted to use Joleon Lescott as my centre back, but I needed Gael Clichy more than Joleon Lescott, so I have to think about that differently in my head as well. And with Gael Clichy as well, like, I just need to talk about how underappreciated he still is, because he still plays. Actually, no, I think he retired this summer as well. That was his final season playing in Swiss football, but his career went on for a good number of years as well, Gael Clichy. And the fact that Gael Clichy has the fact that he's won the Premier League 3 different times, has won the FA Cup once, the League Cup twice. He was out there playing for Chelsea. Gael Clichy was out there playing for Arsenal in the Invincible season, and then with Manchester City for their first ever Premier League title as well. So it goes to show how iconic he really was in terms of always being a good 7, 8, 9 out of 10 every game, because he was quality at his prime. And he really didn't get the best of times in terms of with the national team, because with the national team, you had Abidal in front of him, you had Evra in front of him, and it was just like really difficult for Gael Clichy to get ahead of what he was really kind of doing as well. So the fact that he played for Manchester City for a good number of years until Pep Guardiola got rid of him respectively. He was at Arsenal. He only cost Arsenal £375,000, and he's played there for nearly 9 years at the club, which goes to show how talented Gael Clichy really is. But yeah, nicely done, and I'm really happy that my back four is looking quite comfortable now in terms of underrated. Wes Brown, who have I got? Wes Brown, Aga, Colaccini, and Gael Clichy. That is Premier League bias right there if I've ever seen one, which would have been quite fun indeed. We're gonna continue this until Sukhi comes on, then we'll just get the rest of his picks, because whenever his internet's back on, he'll join us respectively. Now, what is your 4-4-2 looking like, Joshua? Are you going for a diamond? Are you going for a flat four? Are you going for a different type of dynamic entirely? Where are you going with this one, Joshua? Let's hear it.
I'm gonna go with a flat four.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of these players, they play on the wing. They like to come in forward, but they play on the wing. So I'm gonna go flat four. So there's no cams for me. I like my 4-4-2 flat.
That's what we like to hear. Brexit football. Sam Allardyce loves that as well. I love how Sam Allardyce is now chatting about how football is now ruined because everything's become too complicated for him as well. It's like, it used to be so much better. And no, it's just evolved and it's growing on from there as well. So it's going to be something that I'm looking forward to hearing more from Sam Allardyce as he continues to speak on the media as opposed to actually managing in football. But yeah, where are we going with this one, Joshua? Who's your right midfielder?
So again, on the last pod, I had a bit of issues in terms of the player, if they were left or right mid.
Yes.
And this player does play both, so do forgive me. The Man City player, I'm going to choose for Manchester City. He came from Arsenal because Man City enjoyed. I'm not having digs for Man City. These are just facts, but they did take a lot of players from Arsenal before they got the riches. But Samir Nasri.
Yeah. Underrated. Happy with that one. I'm really happy with that one, which is good for
I'm going for him because I thought he was sensational the season before he went to Manchester City. Brilliant. So many good goals. And then I think he was a very, very vital piece of Manchester City's first title win. Yes, Aguero got the goal. Zeka got the equaliser. Tevez came back from whatever he was doing to get some loads of goals. But Nasri always carried that threat.
I also thought that Nasri's versatility was underrated when he's playing through Manchester City as well. So it goes to show he could play on the right, middle, or on the left as well. And it was quite comfortable for Samir Nasri to actually develop himself as a player. But it just never continued on from there, unfortunately. It didn't really carry on from Pellegrini's team. He's great under Mancini, but under Pellegrini, it just never happened. And I reckon if he worked under Pep Guardiola, we'd have seen a very different Samir Nasri than what we saw at the end of his career. Because he kind of, again, just exit backdoor left. He didn't go out with a firing tremendous bang that he should have done, but it just wasn't the case for Samir Nasri, unfortunately. Sukhi, you're back. Made my week by coming back onto this after the issues with the internet. But
sorry. This is what happens, Josh, when you live in the Midlands, mate. You know, when you're working in like your dad owns factories and stuff. That person owes you that X amount of money. You got to get that picked up. Honestly, it's a headache. absolute headache.
Sukhi
Sorry
is
about
top boy in the West Midlands right now.
I'm not. Let me show
Oh,
you
wow.
something though.
It's got the food. It's ready for it. It's ready for it.
I've got these now, Hamz.
Jeez, that's crazy.
They are. Guess what the percentages on those, Hamz?
No clue. 7%,
90%.
90%. That's crazy.
It mongs people out, man.
That is it. That is what we're talking about, and I'm gonna have to when this goes out, I'll put like a little fuzziness on it so people don't actually know what we're talking about for the mystery. It's gonna make the thumbnail nice. It's gonna be good fun. But yeah, we got
chocolate. It's Willy Wonka chocolate, guys. It's Willy Wonka.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just food. It's just food. It's marketing
food.
it's marketing for the new Timothée Chalamet Willy Wonka film that's coming out in Christmas as well. Nicely done there, Sukhi, ahead of the curve. That's why Wakey Wines is getting these deliveries from you. That's all I hear about these days.
There you go. See,
yeah, it's all good. But yeah, we carried on with the draft before you came back as well. So we've done our back four. Joshua is on his right mid, so you can just fill up on the rest of your defense and your right mid. By all means, Sukhi, go for it.
Yeah, sure thing. So it's probably bad timing to come in again. So my other centre back was the guy with the most Premier League own goals.
Oh no,
Richard Dunn.
Jeez, what are you doing to yourself? Why are you doing this to yourself?
This guy was legendary, man. Like this guy was so underrated. Like it takes pizzazz to score the type of own goals that he scored.
I would never describe Richard Dunn as pizzazzy. He's never pizzazzy at all.
Mate, the way this guy used to wear Umbro boots and lob his own goalkeeper, he was way ahead of the curve with Messi, dinking over keepers. You know what I mean? So this guy was already there.
I'm in stitches right now. Is he your Manchester City pick? Yeah, not an Everton pick. No.
Yeah, it might be like Aston Villa pick.
Aston Villa pick even. Jeez, this is crazy.
Yeah. That's when he was at his best.
It's true. Shout out, Salim. We know you're going to come back soon to the podcast, but geez, man, Richard Dunn is not it for you at Aston Villa. I've never picked an Aston Villa player yet. I'm glad I haven't. But yeah, left back. I picked Clichy. Joshua picked Leighton Baines. Where are we going with this one?
Oh, you joke. Those are my two as well, but a good job I had a third. So I'm gonna go with a guy, and there was a bit of a funny story about him. Like this guy was like, I have to send you the article, but apparently he used to eat like so many steaks when he joined Arsenal, and he used to be way overweight. Like he never used to hit the weight criteria to play football. And he's a Brazilian left back, and his name is Andre Santos for Arsenal.
You're going for an anti-draft. I know what this is like. My days. Andre Santos. Andre Santos is famous for literally his most famous moment in an Arsenal shirt was swapping shirts with Robin van Persie at halftime. His most Joshua was laughing because he remembers it straight away.
That's what I thought as well. He's not underrated. He's rubbish.
And is your Arsenal pick as well, Sukhi? That's crazy.
No, I'm gonna challenge.
Listen, he started the trend.
Haaland swapped.
I'm gonna challenge him. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's rated just fine.
I was gonna say you gotta give me that at least. Come on.
Yeah, because you can't. We'll allow you. Yeah.
Awesome. It was like the thing is though, Josh. It's either him or I take that Traore at left back at Arsenal.
Jimmy Traore or Armand Traore?
Yeah, Armand Traore. Yeah,
Armand Traore, famous for scoring that second goal in the infamous QPR versus Manchester City 3-2 game as well.
I don't mind changing it if you want me to change it to him. Is that right?
No,
choice is yours. This is your team. This is your team. If you pick if you pick someone like Ashley Cole, then obviously he's not underrated. But you went for someone who you consider underrated.
Yeah, but to be fair though, the two that I was gonna pick, you've already chosen. Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna go with the worst one out of the three.
Okay, I've got one for you. If you could, would you have picked Danny Rose? Because I know you picked a Spurs player, but would you have picked Danny Rose? Would you consider him underrated?
I don't think he was. I don't think he was underrated, mate. You know, the thing for him was, if he had joined City at the right time, like Walker did, we would be saying absolutely rated. He's fantastic. But he had decent. He was rated during that period of time with Tottenham, so I wouldn't say he's underrated.
England's number one left back as well. Until Gareth Southgate came in and played Ashley Young left back in a back five, which made no sense to me. But yeah, we move. Right mid, Sukhi, where are you going with this one? Joshua's
Oh,
picked Sami Nasri when you came into this one. Where are we going with this one?
so this player, like who the hell thought Real Madrid would buy a player from East London? Julian Forbe.
Oh my days. Faux
This,
bear.
this
Hey,
team
listen,
is
you
what
gotta
I
be a
love.
baller.
This is a great team.
You've
This
got.
is a great team,
Hey,
man.
listen, he's underrated though. Come on, from West Ham
Yeah,
to
he
Real
is.
Madrid. He's a Galactico. Come on.
It was at the time of Schneider, Robben, Van Nistelrooy, Luis
And he was playing
Fabiano.
ahead of him.
He was playing
He was playing
ahead of
ahead of him
him.
as well, remember?
Yeah. Craziest loan I've
Yeah.
ever seen. I think Julian Faubert and Eric Choupo-Moting must share agents or something because they are getting people into places they shouldn't be. It's like when you see that meme of what's this polar bear doing in Arkansas? Like, how's a polar bear in Arkansas? How's Julian Faubert at Real Madrid? That was the craziest deal I've ever seen in the Premier League at that time of speaking as well. It was ridiculous. And I can't even remember a single thing he did for West Ham. That's the thing. I just remember him going up to Real Madrid, which is how crazy he was as a player and as a name as well. So, nicely done there with Julian Faubert. My right mid, I said it earlier, Antonio Valencia. So I'm going for Antonio Valencia from Wigan at that stage as well because he was a really good right mid. And again, him, Al Habsi, Charles and Zogby in a way, they were folklore in Wigan's history, and that was when Wigan actually had the source and they could actually challenge for relegation, and they ended up winning the FA Cup 3 seasons later. But yeah, Antonio Valencia at Wigan, I'm going for you, my friend, which was good. Sukhi, first choice centre midfield. Where are you going with this one? And I think I know where you're going with this one. I'm going to write it down to see if I know if I've got the right answer. So yeah, go for it.
Okay, I don't think you will though, but this is I might as well go for the other player from up north that went to Real Madrid as well, which is absolutely insane. He's a Galactico. His name is Thomas Gravesen.
Out.
Thomas Gravesen.
Mate.
I thought you weren't going to go for Gravesen. I thought you were going to go for Charlie Adam. I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to go for Stokes Charlie Adam. I thought it was going to be something like that. But yeah,
I was thinking it. Well, I thought, you know what? They've got to be good. Do you know what I mean? They've got to have some sort of character to them. You see how
Charlie Adam at Blackpool as well.
There's some yeah. But you can see my team shaping up. There's some characteristics about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's looking good with this one as well. It's about making sure you got the right players in the right team as well. Joshua, centre mid, first choice. Where are you going with this one?
Stilian Petrov, Aston Villa.
Nice, like that one.
That Martin O'Neill side of John Carew, Bonglahor, Ashley Young, he was pulling the strings with Richard Dunn at the back, of course, and Lescott and Barry. And he just, once again, just the way he played the game was just so elegant. Goals he scored, but he could get a proper CM, proper up and down the pitch, box to box. But the quality in the passing was splendid, and yeah, Stilian Petrov for me, very underrated, I think.
Nicely done. For me, my first choice centre mid, who I'm gonna play the game a bit. Michael Carrick, Tottenham Hotspur, centre midfield. I'm going for it.
I'll give you that.
I'm happy with this one. So you can see my theme in terms of picking plays before they move to Manchester United. So Michael Carrick, I've got to throw him in there as well, respectively, because Michael Carrick is someone who I think it's easy for me to say this now. Michael Carrick is the most disrespected England midfielder I've ever seen in my lifetime that has not had the appearances to back it up as well. It's unfortunate the fact that he never really got his time to shine in under any different manager for England, respectively. He had players like Scott Parker, Gareth Barry playing ahead of him, and no disrespect to them, but they were just a different type of midfielder, a different quality of midfielder. And now you're seeing in the modern day, a lot of midfielders have the same kind of qualities and the traits that Michael Carrick had back in the day. So it goes to show when you're looking at midfielders now, they're not really finding the English kind of way of being a box-to-box or being a goal-scoring threat on the edge of the box type of player. It's more someone who can dictate the game. And in English football, we've lacked that for a good number of years until I think Declan Rice will do it a bit more going forward. Jude Bellingham can do that as well. But we missed that with Michael Carrick in our golden era of football because he was always on the bench. He was on the bench in the 2006 World Cup. He was on the bench when we didn't even qualify for the Euros in 2008. And yeah, Michael Carrick is one of the most disrespected and underrated football players I've ever seen in Premier League history. And I'm sure Joshua and Sukhi would agree with that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Yeah, that's Michael Carrick for centre mid from Tottenham Hotspur, Antonio Valencia for right mid from Wigan Athletic. This is leaving me with a tricky one now for centre midfield. But Joshua, go ahead with centre midfield. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go a player the Arsenal supporters who listener will enjoy.
Oh no! Don't do this to me!
Riddled with injuries, but
don't you dare do this to me!
When he played, he was unplayable. Really, Abu Dhabi.
God's sake, man!
Yeah, Abu Dhabi. I mean, Hamza, with your reaction,
you stole him from me, man. What a player!
You might as well tell us why he's in my team for me. Go on.
I mean, if you wanted someone who wanted to demonstrate class, elegance, poise under pressure on the ball, Abu Dhabi was the guy. Abu Dhabi was the man who looked like he could do it all at Arsenal. And when you've got players like Paul Pogba talk about one of his favourite ever players is Abu Dhabi because of how we've said it before for years now, Sukhi and Joshua. We said it last time you were on the podcast as well. Annoyingly, a lot of black players only get hyped up for their physical attributes, not their technical attributes. Yeah. And Abu Dhabi, under Arsene Wenger, was highlighted for his technical attributes. And the fact that we saw so much of it, so much promise, I should say, under Abu Dhabi, it would have worked so well for him if he stayed injury-free. But it wasn't the case. And he had like 20 injuries in his career, and it just never really worked out for him. But when you saw those glimpses of what he was like as a player, sheesh, Abu Dhabi was literally the guy that I thought everyone wanted to look at when they're watching Arsenal. And unfortunately, it wasn't the case. But no, great shout there, Joshua. Really happy with the way you've stolen my Arsenal pick because I've literally been saying...
Thank you for explaining why he's in my team.
You stole him from me. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all.
That's for Aga.
It's true. I'll have to get you back later on. Sukhi, centre midfield. Who's partnering Thomas Gravesen in your centre midfield and why? Are we going hard man FC with this? Kevin Nolan and Gravesen in your midfield. It's crazy.
See, Hamz, you got onto it straight away. So listen, if I've got a bold centre mid, he needs a twin, right? He needs another bold centre mid.
Oh, if we're going to go for the guy
from Man City. Oh no. From Man City, Stephen Ireland.
I thought you were going to go for Nigel de Jong. Jeez.
Oh, no. Forget that. Stephen Ireland, what a player, man. Like, that guy was just calm, just attacking midfield, thread through the lines. He started off the City phase, and he was close to making a big move at some point, but again, injuries got to him. But yeah, I've got to put a bold guy with another bold guy, do you know what I mean? So Brexit ball, sent to midfield, keep it solid.
Brexit, you got one from Ireland and one from Denmark. I love it. I love this game. It's working well with this one.
Mate, everyone thought Thomas Gravesen was from Scotland, so...
Again, how he made it to Real Madrid, I'll never know. Like Real Madrid got rid of Claude Makelele to fund the Galacticos, and then they needed a centre defensive midfielder. And of all the players in the world, who did they get for their defensive midfielder? Thomas Gravesen. It's crazy. Zinedine Zidane once said, "What's the point of having all the gold in the world for your car? No, what's the point of having all the gold in your car if you don't have the engine running?" And he referred to Claude Makelele as the engine in that Real Madrid side. And once they got rid of Makelele to fund Figo, Beckham, Ronaldo, all these Galacticos, they just never won it all because they should have won it all, but they didn't because they were missing Claude Makelele. They named the position after Claude Makelele. And again, you're going from there to there with Makelele to Gravesen because Makelele played in the Premier League. I'm not saying it's underrated by any stretch of the imagination because they named the position after Claude Makelele. And Makelele would dominate Thomas Gravesen all the time as well. So, yeah, it's crazy. But that's the full circle story of Thomas Gravesen replacing Claude Makelele, which is all good. You've gone for a bold midfielder. I'm thinking of another bold midfielder. But I think I'm going to hold out because there is a player that I want on the left side for my team. So I really want him in my team for the sake of it. So midfield... Sukhi, you're going to answer this question for me. And I'm going to give you 2 words, and you're going to reply with 1 word. Moussa Dembele.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Yeah. Just... sauce. Like burger sauce when you get on your burger, when you go chicken shop, mate. That guy, he epitomizes sauce, man. Bloody hell.
Oh,
just, yeah. That he's just that ingredient. He's just that guy. That ingredient that you need is him.
Oh, I've missed you. I've missed you so much, man. This is a crazy analogy. Moussa Dembele was full of sauce. That's the craziest thing I can think about. Pause. Yeah, no homo in that one as well. But yeah, Moussa Dembele at Fulham. I just thought Man United's missing piece of the puzzle. Buy him, Sir Alex Ferguson. Get him in. We don't want Anderson and Cleverley in our midfield. We want Carrick and Dembele together. And this is a dream midfield I thought we should have had back in the day. But Andre Villas-Boas, I think, was the manager who came into Spurs and actually bought him for Spurs as well. Who was it? Sorry.
Oh, so funny story, and I don't know if Josh, if you heard about this. So AVB came out with an interview, I think a couple of weeks back with some Portuguese outlet or whoever it was. But he didn't want to sign Moussa Dembele. It was done by Levy that we signed him 15 mil because he was on cheap because he had a year left on his contract. AVB really wanted João Moutinho, but he was coming up as 40 mil. So we somehow manager AVB did not want Dembele to begin with, and we managed to get him. So I'm happy with that.
I mean, Josh, we need to talk about this. Like, Moussa Dembele is one of the most underrated centre midfielders I've ever seen, and I think the fact that Mauricio Pochettino once described him as having the same kind of class and quality as Ronaldinho on the ball goes to show how talented he was. But again, when we're talking about our top 10 Premier League midfielders, unless it's Travis and maybe Sukhi as well, they're not putting Moussa Dembele in their all-time top 10 centre midfielders. And I just kind of want to know, was Moussa Dembele overlooked because he was playing for Tottenham Hotspur, or was there something that we just never got? We never really saw probably with Moussa Dembele. What do you think, Joshua?
I think it's the period he was playing in. I think, when he got that move, to Spurs, we were crying out to get a centre midfielder to Manchester United. But if you look at the teams, Chelsea, Liverpool, dominated by, Lampard, Gerrard. Manchester City went with, your Barrys. At that time, they had signed Yaya Toure as well. So I think it's the era of the centre midfielders when he came. It was just simply there wasn't I want to say a top side, no disrespect to Spurs, but it wasn't a side that was competing for titles at the time that he could have gone to. But he was outstanding at Spurs though, and he was one of the best performers in that position in the Premier League with the likes of the players I've just mentioned. But when you talk about central midfielders in that era, when you're talking about top 10, it's difficult to put them there just because of the quality. You're talking about positions, players who are the best ever in those positions. That's why. But he's top quality, and I think he's the ultimate. Like Andy Cole for me, he's got to be in there because he's forgotten. He's forgotten about, and it's wrongly so. And if you're not a Spurs fan, you don't really talk about him as much.
And Sukhi, talk to me about his style of play, because we're now seeing a lot of midfielders trying. I'm not going to say they're copying Moussa Dembele, but they're taking elements from his game about beating the press, dribbling in centre midfield, and working in small areas and passing the ball off wide and having that flair about them in the centre midfield. What really excited you about Moussa Dembele, and what was your favourite moment watching him in a Spurs shirt?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think for us as Tottenham fans, we signed him, and he was when he was playing at Fulham, he was a CF. He was just centre forward, just behind the striker, and we thought that was the reason why we signed him, was to play up front, lead the line. But then he dropped deep. He started playing as like a DM, sitting behind the midfield, with obviously when Eriksen came in. But this guy, like, for the size that he was when he came to Tottenham from Fulham, because at Fulham he was quite lean, but once he came to Tottenham, he kind of beefed up a bit. But you could not get the ball off him. It was just simple as that. You could front him up one by one, and he was just getting past you with ease. And it was literally just watching like a big beast, but with like ballerina toes, and he was just getting past people left, right. And I think there's two games that really stood out for me. And again, bar the injuries that he's had, that's obviously like dented his career a bit. The North London derby at Wembley, when we beat them, I think it was 2-1 or 1-0.
Was that the penalty miss one from Aubameyang as well?
Yeah, Aubameyang, yeah.
That was an iconic game as well. Fantastic game.
Mate, Jack Wilshere did not see light of day in that midfield. And he even said at the end of the game, he goes, this guy's just too much.
That's how the
other game was when we played.
Moussa Dembele retired Jack Wilshere. That's all I'm saying from that game. We never saw anything much from him afterwards.
The other big game that people have forgotten about is when we played Juve away. I think we were 2-0 down and then we brought it back to 2-2. But he's the one who started that comeback. And this guy, you can even if you watch the highlights, mate, I don't think anyone dispossessed this guy off the ball. And there was a crazy stat the other day that I read that I think it was a certain period of time that he never got tackled. Nobody got the ball off him. I think it was like a Sunderland or a Stoke player, some youngster that managed to tackle him in the Premier League. And he had that stat for such a long time when nobody could dispossess him. And mate, what a player, man! I'm just unhappy that he never got to win a trophy. That's my only kind of regret for him. But yeah, mate, what a player, man! And I don't think there'll be anything like him either. Like, you're not going to see a player of that size being able to go kind of like box to box and be that kind of big style and being able to like 1v1 pass, just glide past players so easily. It's a very niche skill set to have.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, well put, Sukhi, as well. You put it in such an eloquent way that the fact that he literally had all the source possible in terms of playing, and the fact that he could do it week in, week out, season in, season out, and he didn't really get many injuries as well by being in such a big engine room in the Premier League as well, inviting the press on, and he always seemed to escape it, like you said. Nicely done there with Moussa Dembele. But it also means that I can't pick my favourite Fulham striker of all time. So if one of you have a Fulham striker in your mind that you have, he would have been my perfect partner for Nicolas Anelka, but I can't pick him. And he also played for a big club in Manchester. And I've also used that team as well. So I can't pick him. So Moussa Dembele had to go in there. I've shown my hand basically, Joshua. So if you've got a certain Fulham player in your mind, he's all yours, my friend. But yeah, that's midfield 3 or 4 done. Sukhi, first choice left midfielder. Where are you going with this one?
So this one, this guy, like when we talk about Chelsea, right? This guy never got any of his flowers. And I mean, I'm talking about that Chelsea squad, like proper, I think it was 09-10 when they won the league, wasn't it? That season. This guy was just unbelievable. And do you remember his T90 night football boots that he used to wear? He was just an absolute peach of a left foot. And I'm with Florent Malouda. What a player.
I'm happy with that one. I'm really happy with that one. He was in the World Cup team in 2006 as well, respectively, where it was on the right. It was Malouda, Ribery on the wings. Zidane, Anelka. No, Zidane, Vieira, Henri, Trezeguet. That's a crazy team. But everyone seems to forget from Malouda for what he did as well, respectively, for the club. And I'm really happy with that one. That's definitely underrated. And the fact that I forgot about him, and I thought you were talking about Joe Cole at first. Then I thought you were speaking about Damien Duff, and then you said Florent Malouda. Like, that's how underrated Florent Malouda really is. So really happy with that one. Good shout there. Joshua, left mid. Where are you going with this one?
Morten Gamps Pedersen.
I hate you. I hate you. You've stolen that was my pick. My days, man. What is it with you? Nah. I mean, yeah,
what baller?
He is a top baller. He is a top Norwegian baller. Probably one of the best Norwegian players we've ever seen in the Premier League. But yeah, because you're stealing my picks now. Go ahead, Joshua. Why is Morten Gamps Pedersen your boy at left midfield?
When he used to play right for Blackburn, and the opposition used to be like, you know what, we just can't stop it. It's about what he can do on the day. I remember this game. You know, being a United fan, of course, my United games, you know, stick more to the memory growing up and when he played. And we did beat Blackburn in the end 4-1. But up to an hour, he was just unplayable. We couldn't do anything about him. And everybody knows the game because, you know, we came back, goal scored. I think Carroll got a goal as well. But his touch, his finesse, his free kicks. And it was kind of like the first sort of, you talk about that era as well, 4-4-2 is heavy. It was kind of the first time we were seeing a player from the wing drift into the centre and just thread those balls. And the fullback thinking, do I follow him or do I not? Because if I follow him, there's a space in behind. And he just had that end product, which a lot of players just don't have in this current era, man. And I'm amazed no one picked him up again, another player. But when you're talking about streets won't forget and someone who had it all, you know, he was there, Pedersen.
Sukhi, there was a time when you could say Blackburn Rovers were challenging for European football. They were always a team that would always upset the big four, the big six, I should say, as you consider them now as well. But with Morten Gamps Pedersen, we talk about a lot of players that have a lot of great left foots. Would you consider him to have one of the greatest left foots that we've ever seen and not appreciated in Premier League history? What do you think, Sukhi?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think when you're thinking of left-footed players in the Prem, that guy, he had a wonderful left foot. You think about like Seb Larsson, right, with that right foot, and we think of like Jane Ward-Prowse. We're talking about a left-footed player that was on a similar level, but he could get, like Josh was saying, in behind defenders as well. But there was always that one standout game when I think United played against Blackburn. I think it was in the Carling Cup. It was like a quarter-final or semi-final, and he took a crazy free kick that nobody thought he was going to score from. And I can remember seeing Fergie go absolutely mental. And I think the guy, I think at that point, Fergie used to hate going to Blackburn because of this guy.
He hated Ewood Park with a vengeance. That's why he celebrated that 19th, the 19th one so much, because he just like, I hate Blackburn Rovers. Ewood Park is not his favourite place to go to. He celebrated
Yeah. All because of one guy, Morten Gamps, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just how did one player used to just frustrate so many managers? Because the thing was, if you asked him to take a free kick and you told him to put it on a penalty spot, he's putting it right there. It's just up to the striker to decide to score. And I think when you look at like Roque Santa Cruz that was there at Blackburn, he was having a field day with having Pedersen in behind, right? So yeah, I mean, what a player, what a pick.
Nah, great shot there. So you've gone for your left mid as Morten Gamst Pedersen. Sukhi's gone for Florent Malouda. Yeah, it's kind of ruined my Everton pick, but I'm gonna have to go early with my Everton pick. Steven Pienaar, going for Steven Pienaar, who 22 goals in Premier League history, 40 assists in 214 games in the Premier League. He had an awful time at Spurs, and I just don't think he cut it at Spurs because he just wasn't at the right club in that time. And he went back on loan, I think, to Everton. And I've never seen a player have more fun than going back to his old club and enjoying himself back at Everton. He had a stint at Sunderland where he didn't really turn out well, but that first kind of stint we saw him at Everton, we really, besides Quinton, Fortune, and Lucas Radebe, a South African player since then in the Premier League, like Steven Pienaar, and ever since the 2010 World Cup, the growth of South African football isn't as big as what it once were with other countries in Africa actually balling out now with the talent that they have, with the recruitment that they have, the development they have as well. But Steven Pienaar was the guy who kind of become a trailblazer at Everton. And unfortunately for me, I'll always remember the fact that he was that shining face for Everton when Manchester United bottled a 4-2 lead at Old Trafford in 2012 when we should have won and closed out the game properly, to lose the lead and draw 4-4. And Steven Pienaar and Marouane Fellaini sticking to my mind because of that. But yeah, Steven Pienaar as my Everton pick, I'm going in for that one as well, which is nicely done. Shout out Clint Dempsey, but you're not getting into my team because Moussa Dembele was my Fulham pick as well. So yeah, Pienaar goes in with this one. This is going to be fun because now we're talking about strikers and it's going to be looking crazy with this one as well. I picked Anelka. Did anyone else pick a striker for their wildcard?
Yeah, I did. Andy Cole.
You picked Andy Cole, so you basically won the draft anyway. So you're going last on this one, Joshua.
No, you're cheeky because you know who I'm going to go for. You're cheeky, you are. But you're cheeky, man. Carry on.
Wait, can I go last because it's a funny pick, right? Let you two take your pick, and then I'll go last.
Go on, let's go for this one. We'll do honourable mentions actually before we go for our strikers. So we'll do honourable mentions after Joshua's one, and then Sukhi will say his last one as well, which would be good fun. I think because then we can all enjoy it, and that's honourable mentions for the whole pitch for anywhere in the pitch as well. So you know what, Joshua, I'm going to let you go first because I think for the player I think you're going to choose, I think I picked their club already. So
I think I have as well now.
Fire away, my friend. Who's your partner to?
So I was gonna just to spite you, I was thinking Louis Sahar, right?
But I picked Fulham. I picked Man United, so I couldn't.
I put Breda Hangeland. He's played for Fulham, and I picked Andy Cole.
Yeah. You're not picking Everton, Louis Sahar. I'm not allowing that. And you're definitely not picking
Spurs. Hey, Tottenham, Louis Sahar. Wait. Spurs, Josh. Yeah,
he did nothing at Spurs, man. I'm not allowing that.
He smashed it for us.
He did not smash it like he did at Fulham. Nah.
You know what? I can't. Can I have Hangeland at Crystal Palace?
No, you can't. You can't change it. No take backs. We're not doing take backs.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go Dimitar Berbatov at Spurs.
I'm happy with that. I'm really happy.
I'm gonna go Dimitar Berbatov at Spurs.
But I don't think he was underrated.
You don't think he's underrated?
I don't think he's underrated. I think he was fairly rated for what he did.
Okay,
mate.
He's not underrated at all.
Everyone used to say he was lazy.
He's not lazy at all.
No, he is. He is. Everyone used to say he was lazy. He not lazy.
Nah, I wouldn't have that. He may have walked around the pitch, but he still scored goals, and he did it with such class and elegance and ooze about him as well. So the fact that he always delivered, I would say, barring 1 or 2 seasons for Man United, 1 season for Spurs, he was a quality player. But I would never call Dimitar Berbatov underrated.
But
I think he's fairly rated.
I think he never got his flowers, really. But you know, but I'm happy to go to Liverpool, a Liverpool striker.
Tottenham Flames.
First season for Spurs, he was great though. When he came in, it was great.
Yeah. I mean, he broke. Yeah, I agree. I'm moving on my list. Daniel Sturridge, Liverpool, SAS. Surely, third time lucky, guys. Hamz is not having it. He's not having it, is he?
No. Hey, listen, Hamz. No.
Hamz, you lost the plot. Let me speak. I'm allowing it, but because I did that, I was thinking about how I forgot Daniel Sturridge, how I forgot him for my Liverpool pick. Because we all think about SAS, but we think about Sterling, Coutinho before Sturridge. We don't think about Daniel Sturridge and Luis Suarez. That's how I was processing it in that team. So by all means, have Daniel Sturridge, great pick. But there's me thinking of all the strikers I could think about. Daniel Sturridge never came up to it, and he was on TV last week as well.
That's what helped.
Yeah. No, I like that debate, but go ahead, Joshua. Talk to us about why Daniel Sturridge is underrated as a footballer, not just at Bolton on loan, not just at Chelsea, at Liverpool, especially in that SAS. Why was he underrated?
Oh, he was the glue. You know, Suarez was amazing. As much as he was a nonsense person, he still is. I don't know why I said it.
He was a what? Sorry, he was a what?
Nonsense. He's a nonsense person.
Oh, okay.
A nonsense person.
I thought you were calling something that we wouldn't really know about. Yeah.
He was a nonsense person, but Sturridge was beautiful in terms of the finishing, the goals, and he would do stuff. I mean, like when they thrashed Arsenal, the finishes, just kind of first time, bang, bottom corner, unplayable at times at SCS. And what was really good about his time at Liverpool, he had a build up with Bolton, good finishes, injury prone. They never really got going at Chelsea. Had a lot of appearances, couple goals, but wasn't really there. And then boom, Liverpool arrived, and it was built up as when Gerrard slipped as the title for Gerrard, and it was kind of Gerrard and Carragher getting their title. But Suarez and Sturridge were amazing. That was, probably, look, I can't think of it right now, but it's been hard since then to see a partnership like that in the Premier League. But Sturridge is equally as good as, in that season. Suarez is amazing, the goals he scored. But the quality of that left foot, the first touch, and he wasn't kind of the most mobile player as well. So he wasn't kind of like running past plays. He'll just get his body right. He'll just get a yard and he'll find the bottom corner or maybe the top. So in that period, he's really good, annoyingly.
He's doing that.
He's doing that to City.
He's doing that. He's played for City, Chelsea, Liverpool. He played for all the ops. Daniel Sturridge did as well. That's why I forgot about him, respectively.
Well, so. you never won a Prem, so that's all good.
He retired early and he got done for drugs as well. So he kind of went out in a bad way as well. No, it wasn't drugs. Sorry, it was betting. Was it betting?
Yeah,
or was it drugs?
Betting. No, betting. He was in Australia, wasn't he? He was betting in Australia.
It was betting. Nah, nicely done. Great shout there, Daniel Sturridge. But yeah, my final pick, I'm going to go to Manchester for this one as well. And I'm going to the blue side of Manchester. And I'm going to go for a striker who scored double figures in three of his full 4 seasons there. I'm going back to Bosnia. I did say earlier, I did allude to it earlier with Asmir Begovic. I'm going back to Bosnia and I'm going to someone who came in from winning the league at Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga to Manchester City. And we're going for the 6'+ striker, someone who's still playing now at Fenerbahce. And the reason I'm picking this player is because I was playing FIFA earlier, EA24 FC, and someone was Fenerbahce, and I was an unnamed Premier League team for legal reasons. I can't mention them. And I lost 4-1. And I'm like, he's still got it. He's definitely still got it, even if it is on FIFA and not in real life. Edin Dzeko, my friends. Edin Dzeko.
Hamz, there's no way.
We're not having him.
No way.
He is so underrated. Edin Dzeko is so underrated.
Josh, tell him you're not having him.
No way is he underrated. He's a quality striker.
You're saying Berbatov. Josh, you said Berbatov, right?
Edin Dzeko is so underrated. 14 goals in his first full season. I'm not.
Yeah, he got his flowers though.
Berbatov at top.
Everybody talks about that.
If Andy Cole is underrated, Edin Dzeko is underrated. I'm not having that. You can't tell if you're picking Andy Cole as your wild card for underrated. Edin Dzeko is underrated. 50 goals in Premier League.
Listen, you can have him, but you got to give Josh Berbatov then.
Tricky.
Because when you talk about the Aguero moment, everybody talks about how vital was it that Dzeko stood up and got the goal.
No one says that. No one actually says that. You might say it now.
He scored the equaliser in that game.
He scored it. People forget about Edin Dzeko. I mean, Pellegrini did, and he got rid of him.
I don't think he's underrated though. I don't think if you look at our selection of players like Berbatov, because I don't think Berbatov is that's just putting someone that's not getting his flowers, but he got his ratings, Dzeko. He was a prolific striker. He got goals. He got derby goals. He scored. He just got ushered away during the Pellegrini. They bought Wilfred Boney. I don't think there was ever a period I'm thinking, oh,
Scored
Edin
some goals
Dzeko's
for
not
Swansea.
good. You know, oh sorry, you know, yeah, well, yeah, there you go. So
he did score for Man City, but yeah, I just like that rhyme. He's scored some goals for Swansea.
You can have him. Josh is not Berbatov.
Okay, because I don't want Berbatov and Andy Cole for Joshua because that will be an automatic win on social media. I will concede Edin Dzeko and we'll put him as our honourable mention for that one as well. But before I move on to my striker, I've got my striker already, and I've not picked his team, so I'm going to go for him. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank is going to be my second striker. Hasselbank and Anelka. By all means, because we all appreciate Edin Dzeko on this podcast. Joshua, fire away. Talk to me about how Edin Dzeko was here for a short time, but a great time in the Premier League and what he kind of meant for Premier League folklore. Again, coming from a not so big country in football, but Edin Dzeko actually inspired Bosnia to their first ever World Cup appearance in 2014 in Brazil. And their first game was against Argentina in Brazil, which is iconic. So let's say your thoughts on Edin Dzeko, both Joshua and Sukhi. Then we'll go into Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
I think at that time he joined in 2011, wasn't it? The January.
Yeah.
It was kind of a period where in the Premier League you buy strikers outside the Prem, you know, from Bundesliga, Serie A, and they'll just come in flop. Simple. And
they still do, to be fair.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But
not Haaland, definitely not Haaland, but Timo Werner's a good example.
Unfortunately not Haaland. Saldado as well. Sorry.
It's from La Liga. What are you on about?
No, but for Spurs. But they'll come into the Premier League. Anyways, but with Dzeko, he came in and he just got goals and he got it. And it was once again that next step for Manchester City. I remember Rooney, United have had some brilliant moments. You know, Rooney scored that wonderful bicycle kick, but Dzeko got the goal. You know, the equaliser. It was a scruffy goal. He came on, you know, got the equaliser 1-1. It was like, oh, City here now. And just it translated that form from Germany into the Premier League, and it's not easy to get Premier League goals like that. Yes, he's 6'6", or 6'6" plus. Sorry, it's not about just tossing in the air. Great aerially, but he had bangers with his feet. He had bangers with his feet, and through gritted teeth, he really was. You know, that kind of change in the guard for City as well. They didn't have to buy him in the January window. And it was kind of like he's just class. He came in and he was already a top class striker. For me, and you know the impact he did internationally. Impact he had at City, brilliant. Annoyingly,
nearly won the Champions League last season with Inter Milan at a ripe old age of 35 years old, which would have been crazy as well. And Sukhi, because we've spoken about Edin Dzeko as well, just to hear from your point of view as well, are we seeing the comeback of target men coming back into the Premier League in terms of how a lot of players now are kind of, again, I don't want to use the line of following the mold of Edin Dzeko, but he was 6'3", 6'4", and he had pace, he had power, he could shoot from outside the box, he could get a goal poacher's goal, he could do any type of goal. And when you worked the team around Edin Dzeko and Sergio Aguero, they were on fire. And for me personally, that was my favourite partnership, not Tevez, Dzeko, Tevez, Aguero. It was Aguero and Dzeko. That for me, that was a killer partnership. Let's say your thoughts, Sukhi, on what Dzeko's legacy in Manchester City kind of did, and are we seeing more strikers like him now in modern football?
Yeah, definitely. I think just on that question, I don't think we're seeing many strikers of that caliber, right? I think the only one you could say is the next generation. I mean, when you look at Dzeko, you think of like Dzeko, Giroud, those target strikers, the ones that know the right place at the right time, the right movement, where to go.
They've been there, done that, strikers.
Exactly. They know they've got that experience, right? And I think the next caliber of striker you're thinking of is like Osimhen from Napoli, that's just running down the channels. I think we're not getting those strikers no more. We're looking at strikers that are poachers inside that 18-yard box, and then we're looking at strikers that are outside the box that kind of integrate with play, dropping deep. So yeah, I think it is a dying breed to say that he's having the kind of target strikers out there. And I think like with Chelsea, they think Nicholas Jackson is that kind of striker, but he's not.
Yeah,
let's be real, right? He's not a target striker, right? And I think they signed him in that hope that he will be, but you can tell there that kind of breed of striker like Dzeko, it's not there. And I think that's why we give him his plaudits, because when he played at City, he was pivotal in the Premier League. He was pivotal in the Champions League when they first got in there, and he scored important goals at the right time. So I think for that, we can't really say he's underrated because he got his flowers when he was there. And then you look at his longevity as well of his career. For someone to be kind of how we say world class and a top class striker, he's been able to do it at his age at Inter and Roma, then obviously now at Fenerbahce, it just speaks kind of volumes for what he's done in his career. And I think for that kind of style of play, brilliant.
I remember winning the league at Wolfsburg as well in the Bundesliga, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Never seen anything like it from Wolfsburg ever since, which is crazy to think about. They're still getting into Champions League every other season, but never won the league with Grafite and Edin Dzeko as their strike force, which was crazy to think about. Yeah, nicely done there, gents. Honorable mentions time before Sukhi fires us away with his partner. I'm looking forward to this one as well. So your honorable mentions, let's see from my point of view if you think they're underrated or kind of rated as well. So for me, if I have to go for a couple of strikers, I was going to go for Freddie Canute. Both played for both Tottenham and for West Ham. Thought he's underrated. Emmanuel Adebayor, thought he's underrated as well. Everyone just remembers the celebration for Man City. Thought it wasn't too bad on his day, respectively. Romelu Lukaku. Thoughts? Underrated at Everton? West Brom, sorry. Man United? Underrated? No, Joshua. Why? Don't think
I think he's rated. When he left Man United and ripped it into Milan, he was like world's best come the last Euros. I think he gets his props. I think he was excellent at Everton. I think I know this because I did the game the other day. Everton West Ham. Calvert-Lewin got 50 goals. I'm correct, or for Everton.
Yeah,
and it was Romelu Lukaku was on that list. Also, so he became the fourth person. He was fantastic. For them, probably wasn't the best at United, but he was good at Inter.
I still liked him at Man United. I can't lie.
Yeah, I did as well. Yeah, it just became a thing where he had to. People started memeing him and putting Timberlands and all this sort of stuff. And then
the first touch and everything.
Yeah, but I think he was. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's good. But it's why we debate. Throw your names around.
Shinji Okazaki was one of them. Paulo Di Canio, Demba Ba for strikers. Yeah. Javier Hernandez I had down as well. But it would have been Man United one, not West Ham one, because he didn't do much at West Ham. A few midfielders from my side. We mentioned Clint Dempsey. Dusan Tadic for Southampton. Thought he was much better at Ajax, but clearly, again, is now at Fenerbahce and Ajax are tumbling down in the Eredivisie. Ji-Sung Park, of course. We've gone from Juan Mata. Scott Parker. Sukhi, we had a conversation about that on a flight once, which was quite crazy. Current player, Pascal Gross. I thought it'd be quite cool to put him on there. Joe Willock, Suleiman Tari, Genie Wijnaldum. I thought it would have been one to put onto there as well. Hatem Ben Arfa, Theo Walcott, Aaron Lennon. I've gone for in midfield as well. Bakary Sagna for defense as well. Marcel Desailly, I thought he was highly rated, so I'm never going to mention him as underrated at all. Underappreciated, but not underrated by any stretch of the imagination. Tim Howard and Rui Patricio I'd go for as goalkeepers. And Mark Schwarzer maybe from Middlesbrough. Any underrated players that we never mentioned, Joshua, from your point of view, or you never got to speak about, I should say?
Yeah, there's a few I've got on my list that I've assembled. I thought Rob Huth, potentially.
I was going to put Wes Morgan for my centre-back. No lie. I was going to put Huth and I was going to put Morgan and Agger as centre-back. I was like, I've got to get better players now, which is the case. But yeah, nicely done with Robert Huth. Could play anywhere in the back for Stoke.
Christopher Samba as well.
Oh,
man.
Top baller.
Beast.
That was nice. Ryan Shawcross for Stoke.
I think it's perfectly rated, personally.
I'm so glad you choose that. no, Sukhi.
We're going to Brexit ball that one as well.
Oh, man. Midfield wise, Nigel De Jong, I thought he's really
I thought Sukhi was going for him as well. De Jong and Gravison would have been chaos 11. That's all I'm saying, man. That midfield would have been insane. Red cards, violence, every game would have been insane to see. Oh,
Harry Kewell for Leeds as well. I thought that was one as well. I thought he had a bit of finesse his game. Steve Malbronk, he was nice.
Forgotten. Is it in the? I think he was once in the top 10 list of assists of all time in the Premier League as well.
Yeah,
both for Fulham and for Tottenham, respectively.
Gareth Barry as well. I mean, most appearances. That's always worth a shout.
We never mentioned him at all.
Youssef Benayoun as well. Youssef Benayoun, I think, obviously Arsenal, Liverpool, West Ham. Bobby Zamora, not too bad.
Forgot about him.
And Luis Boamorte as well.
Fulham. Yeah,
Fulham.
Nice.
And yeah, that was it. Really. I mean, this was maybe controversial. Robbie Fowler as well.
I think is underappreciated, but definitely rated. If you spoke, if you had a Liverpool fan on here, he'd be speaking his praises. So by all means, I'm quite happy with that one as well, which would be good fun. As well.
Mido.
Oh, Mido. That would have been a good one. I put
no.
Not Mido.
Mido was below mid. That's all Suki's saying right now.
What about my last one is Tunjai. Tunjai, is that?
Tunjai was decent.
Oh, for that player. Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
Amizaki then, that one season wonder for Wigan.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been good. Because with some of these topics, we can't do them as a draft because, like, if we did like a one season wonder, we can't do 3 people with one season wonders. So I like the fact we're mentioning them as well. Potential topic for next time as well. One season wonder FC. Amizaki and Michu up front. Ballers. No, Roque Santa Cruz up front. Baller as well. That'd have been good. Yeah, Sukhi. Any honourable mentions before you mention your final striker? Let's hear it.
I think you've said majority of them. I think probably one to add is from Middlesbrough, Alfonso Alves, the striker. He used to wear number 8.
Nice.
He was
I like
that. Yeah, I mean, there's loads, but I think you've both gone through the list of all of them that I would have thought of as well. So
Maynor Figueroa, Wigan Athletic. That would have been good.
Yeah, exactly. Zogbia, when you mentioned earlier as well. What a player. He's decent.
Also saved them for relegation one other season as well, Wigan. Literally surviving. Yeah. It was crazy.
Then we've got Nigel Reo-Coker as well.
Bolton and West Ham.
I'm only joking. He's terrible.
What about Solano? Solano or
Norberto Solano? Yeah. Peruvian international. Laurent Robert left mid. Crazy left mid.
Laurent Robert, he was a baller as well, yeah.
A shot on him. Some amazing goals from Laurent Robert, which is crazy.
Jermaine Genius.
Jermaine Defoe is not underrated, but Jermaine Genius is. Jermaine Genius is underrated, especially for his time at Newcastle. But I'm glad no one said Jermaine Defoe because he is rated. I highly rate Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah,
top baller.
You put him on the list just to kind of get a little. I see you, Hamz.
That's what we do. We throw it out there for the content. It's good fun as well. Berbatov.
At Spurs.
Jermaine Defoe.
His time at Spurs is underrated. That's what I'm saying. His time at Spurs is underrated. It's not hard. Jermaine
Defoe at Portsmouth, underrated. That's another one as well. But yeah, Sukhi. Benjani, what a name. Kanu as well. No, Kanu was rated, I think. I like Kanu.
Kanu was rated, man. That's another bite I took away.
Yeah, that's nicely done there as well. But yeah, without further ado, everyone, here's Sukhi's final players to round up his underrated draft, Premier League underrated draft. Who are we going for your second striker, Sukhi, with Kevin Nolan behind him?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So when you look at my team, I've got bold heads everywhere. I've got Flair on the side. So it's proper Sam Allardyce. I'm going to call my team at the end. I've got a good name for him, actually. But I need someone to be able to head the board down to Kevin Nolan on the volley. So I'll let you guys have a guess who I've picked here.
Is he bald?
No.
Is it Peter Crouch?
It is indeed, Hamz. It is indeed. It's Peter
Crouch and Nolan could have been in the same England side together as well. Do you know how mad that would have been? If Kevin Nolan actually played in that game, I think he had a call-up once. Him and Crouch up front would have been crazy football. Under Capello, or under McLaren, I should say. Insane.
Listen, I had the joy of watching Jermaine Defoe and Peter Crouch, Champions League, against Inter, AC. Honestly,
Real Madrid.
Absolute vibes, yeah. With Van der Vaart as well, mate. Just, yeah. What a team. What a system.
Peter Crouch is the kind of guy who, when he retires from football, he keeps himself relevant. We see him in the media. We see him with his podcast as well. Travis is a big fan. Travis actually appeared on the Peter Crouch documentary as well on Amazon, which is out. Yeah, he actually did. I'll get Travis to send you the video later on because he was actually on there. He's talking about how he loved the Peter Crouch podcast. And I was like, blood, you're meant to be promoting Friday Night Counter-Attack, not talking about Peter Crouch, man. Like, geez, man, you're there for one reason and one reason only. It's like, nah, I love him. Oh, okay, cool. It is what it is. But my favourite moment from Peter Crouch, it wasn't really when he was at Portsmouth or Tottenham. It was when he was at Stoke City. Again, me living where I'm living at the moment, don't hunt my IP address, everyone, was he scored that amazing volley from an acute angle back to goal against champions chasing Manchester City. That was a crazy goal. We've seen him do overhead kicks, bicycle kicks, the lot as a striker. But for him to do that, I think it was rather, I don't know if it's Demichelis or Kolarov or someone was behind him. And he just did an overhead kick or a volley over Joe Hart, over prime Joe Hart. That was a moment where I think Peter Crouch got his name etched in Stoke City folklore as well, which is crazy to see as well. But yeah, big fan of Peter Crouch as a footballer. Don't really watch what he does now, but again, top baller and then top logo all around as well. Joshua, any final thoughts on Peter Crouch from your side?
Yeah, I thought he was good. I think it's one of those kind of players when you're watching him, you have to prove himself that he wasn't just throw the ball towards him. And I think the back in his career, he kind of has accepted that that's who he is. But great games, hat trick against Arsenal for Liverpool, solid goals for England at the World Cup as well. Became a genuine threat. I thought he's fantastic. Use his height for his advantage. You look at someone like Wout Weghorst can't hit the ball. What's the point? You know, no, but it's true.
It's true.
You're 6'6". You can't do anything. You know, what is the actual point? But someone like Peter Crouch, he was a very good striker. And I wouldn't say his height was a limitation, but it can be a disadvantage at times. And he made it his ultimate weapon. And yeah, he scored some really good goals with his feet. But yeah, I think a solid player. And to be fair, the manager's always got the best out of him, which I think is good.
Yeah,
it's not like just lump it to him and he's headed down. They got the best out of Crouch. Yeah.
One final thought from me was in the 2010 World Cup when England were 3-1 down at the time. We needed a saviour in our team. We needed someone to come on and change the way England were playing after we getting dominated by the Germans, and Frank Lampard's goal didn't count. And who does Fabio Capello bring on? He doesn't bring on Peter Crouch. He brings on Emil Heskey. And you're just there like Peter Crouch is the one that scored in the World Cup for England against Trinidad and Tobago, but he didn't bring him on. And you're just like, man, that's how Peter Crouch's career for England is going out. I've been an unused sub when we need a goal. We need a plan B. And the plan B was to lump it to Heskey, who would then lose the ball. And you're just like, okay, cool. That is not what we want in a striker. So, yeah. Nicely done there with that one, Fabio Capello, for ruining England fans for years to come. Because we waited years, like 8 years for something nice to happen at a World Cup. And it didn't happen with Capello. It didn't happen with Peter Crouch sitting on the bench. But yeah, I thought we smashed that, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been playing along, I hope you've enjoyed what we've got so far. I hope you've noted your teams down as well. You know your team down, Joshua? Sukhi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll read mine out. So in goal, I'm going for Stoke City's Asmir Begovic. Message me back on LinkedIn, please. I want you to become a guest on our podcast. Thank you very much. At the back, my back four is Wes Brown, Fabrizio Colacini for Newcastle, Daniel Agger for Liverpool, Gael Clichy. Then I'm going for a midfield four of Antonio Valencia, Michael Carrick, Moussa Dembele, and Steven Pienaar, with a strike force that looks to fear no defence, Nicholas Anelka and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Joshua, do me the honour of reading out your team CV play.
Jeskalainen in goal, goalkeeper, obviously. Right back, sorry, I thought I did that. Right back.
Are you sure he's not playing a striker? Jeskalainen, top baller.
So in the sticks for sure.
Finish number 9. You see Jeskalainen. I love this game.
It's definitely in goal. Jeskalainen. Right back, Cesar Azpilicueta. Hangeland with Ben Mee and centre back partner. Leighton Baines left back. I think my midfield is my strongest department. I've got Sami Nazi right mid, Steven Petrov centre mid, Abu Dhabi for Arsenal centre mid, Morten Gamps Pedersen, who low keys won the draft, left mid, and up front Daniel Sturridge for Liverpool, nowhere else, and Andy Cole for me is the most underrated footballer in the Premier League. So yeah, I think I've returned well.
You've returned well, but Andy Cole won the draft for you. Like when you said Andy Cole and Sukhi agreed, I'm like, yeah, there's no point. I'm just using this because I tried my luck with Edin Dzeko, but you boys were switched on, so I'm like, yeah, not a chance. So. if we had 2 duds on here, we're like, oh yeah, I agree, Hamz. Edin Dzeko underrated. It's like, nah, yeah, I'm glad you two were awake for this one, which is good fun. And what's really fun is Sukhi's team. So Sukhi, for the benefit of myself, for Joshua, and for our listeners, read out your team back to front for us, please.
Yeah, definitely. So in goal, I've got the Ali Al-Habsi from Wigan. At right back, I've got Pascal Chimbonda from Spurs. I've got Richard Dunn as my centre-back from Aston Villa. My second centre-back is Tal Ben Haim from QPR. Left back, I've got Andre Santos from Arsenal. I've got my 2 centre-mids, Stephen Ireland from Man City, Thomas Gravison from Everton. And then on my wings on the right, I've got Julian Forbe from West Ham. And on the left, I've got Florent Malouda from Chelsea. And then up top, I've got my short and tall striker, tall being Peter Crouch from Stoke, and then little striker being Kevin Nolan from Bolton. Set piece FC.
Is that your team name then, Sukhi? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, that is my team name, yeah.
That's okay. If I'm going for a team game, it's Asmir, message me back, please. Featuring 10 other guys. So yeah, That's going to be my team name. Asmir's going to see this and be like, nah, I don't want to follow this guy anymore. Joshua, if you had to give your team a name, what would it be and why?
So I'm trying to get off mute there. My team would be Andy Cole. This is your time.
This guy, man. This guy. he knows how to rub it in. He knows how to rub it in. I'm just like, nah, man. That's just so.
Sorry, Andy Cole. This is your time, FC.
If you then had Dwight York as the other one, I'd have just been like, nah, this is not happening. This is not happening at all. Because Teddy Sheringham's rated, Solskjaer's rated. I don't get how Andy Cole will get away with being underrated. Let's see what the public think. Let's see what the internet thinks. And see.
You got to clip up what I said in the first instance, because if you watch him in terms of his quality, one of the best strikers. But let's not lie to ourselves here. When we're talking football, even as Manchester United supporters, we miss him out all the time. And, you know, working in the industry and you guys consume the amount of football that you do, especially with someone like Haaland, the records he's breaking, it's Andy Cole. It's not Henry. It's not your favourites. It's not your friend's favourite. It's not your dad's or your mum's favourite footballers. It's Andy Cole. And because of that, he has to be the most underrated footballer. You know, the fastest 50th, Haaland has blitzed the Premier League. 49 goals. And he's going to get another one probably against Liverpool, hopefully. And bang, he's on 50. Breaks Andy Cole's record. Broke Andy Cole's record in a 42-game season. In a 38-game season. It's Andy Cole.
The funniest thing is, though, and this is what I like about
and no pens. Sorry.
And no pens. But what my favourite moment is the fact that Joshua could easily have gone Andy Cole from Newcastle, where he was still a goal machine, and he could have had another Man United player in there as well. But because I misled him with my disdain and my annoyance, he forgot all about it. Because he could have dominated this draft if he went Andy Cole Newcastle. I'm like, yeah, cool. He could have gone for one more.
No, because you know what? But you know what? I want to be true to it. You know, he was amazing at Newcastle.
He was still sick at Newcastle as well. Andy Cole was insane at Newcastle, but
yeah, he was, to be fair.
Mate, he scored 40 goals in one season for Newcastle.
You know how cold that is?
40 goals in one season for Newcastle.
Well, there you go. Like, listen, he's like, listen. Let's do it. Andy Cole.
That's right.
It's too late. It's too late. It's literally too late, Joshua.
Too late. That's right. We were going with it.
You're like, oh yeah, Morton Gans Pedersen, the man who won it. I'm like, Andy Cole won it. But if you had Andy Cole, and let's say if you put someone like, I don't know, even if you put someone like, actually, Van Persie's not underrated. But if you went for someone else like that would have been crazy. If you went for Louis Saha, crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, you're going for Daniel Sturridge, and I'm quite happy with that one as well, which is good fun. But everyone, thank you very much for this draft. It's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute joy to have this one going forward. And again, we're going to have more drafts coming up for the rest of the season going forward. This is a great format, and we love talking about historical football players as well, not just from our lifetime, but from different lifetimes as well, respectively. Sukhi, I'm looking forward to seeing your matchday vlog coming up soon. Why don't you tell everyone where potentially you might be going and who you might be watching coming up?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So in the next 3 weeks time from now, I'll be going to Tottenham versus West Ham, the East London derby. Well, I'll say the Northeast London derby. So it's going to be it's going to be some tense atmosphere. Walking up Seven Sisters Road as well. So I've got the week off, so I should be able to vlog early, be able to get some videos in game as well, and then obviously do a match analysis at the end and show people around actual Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because I don't think a lot of people see the kind of the beauty of inside the stadium as well, in terms of like the bars, the brewery inside, the kind of accessibility in the stadium to get up to where you need to sit, and the atmosphere as well when you're with the South Stand with the home fans as well. So hopefully I get to bring that atmosphere, and hopefully we do win. And we hate West Ham with a passion, so I'm hoping we beat them again as we normally do. And you'll be hearing us chanting at the end, not leaving the stadium too early, but I should be able to get some really cool clips and do a good match overview on that one.
It should be good fun. I'm looking forward to this one as well. It should be quite nice indeed. And Joshua, why don't you tell everyone what's happening with you coming up for the Christmas period as well? Because there's lots to go through as well in terms of your commentating, your reporting. You're absolutely flying right now. But what's going on? And not just in your draft picks, because you've massively improved from last time. So nicely done there as well. But let the people know what's going on with you.
Just next couple of weeks, more EFL stuff, more Stockley Park, of course. You know, it never stops around this period. But loads of Premier League games across the Christmas period. I've got Chelsea, Brighton next month on the Sunday. That'd be nice. The second. Champions go to Luton. I'm doing that game, which is quite cool. I've got going to Spurs, which I rarely do, which is cool. 23rd December, Spurs Everton. So that'd be nice. You going to that
there
game
as well? Yeah, me and Travis will be there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Make sure.
Oh, you got to link
Yeah,
up
make
before.
sure you come see us. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, lots of Boxing Day action. I don't know where I'm going Boxing Day yet. Might be doing a bit of FA Cup for final score. And then a few normal, championship games. So, that's December. But honestly, Christmas, I can't wait for January. I love football, but blimey. There's a lot. There is a lot.
It's nicely done indeed. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I think my next game, it may be the Chelsea game or it may be the Bayern Munich game. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But
I'm going to that as well. I'm going to Bayern Munich, Man United. I forgot. I tried to forget. I forgot I support Man United. You see.
You're here in a professional capacity.
I don't support him at all. But I'm going to the Man United Bayern game.
And just like with me, I'm there to watch Jamal Musiala, so it's going to be all good.
Yeah, there we go. There for me. We're there for Harry Kane.
It's true. Need to save a trip. It's going to be good fun. But maybe there'll be a secret game or two for me to watch in the new year coming up. But our next plan is we are now planning our next foreign trip away. So we're going to plan it and hopefully we can get a good game coming up soon in the new year. A game or two, I should say, in the new year, which would be good fun. But everyone, thank you very much for watching. It's been a great pleasure to have this podcast with Joshua and with Sukhi as well. Thanks for watching our matchday vlogs, and it's good to be back at it, which is good fun. I know I keep saying back at it, but at the time of recording, I've been doing my university work for like 2 weeks straight. So it's back to recording and I'm loving it, which is good fun as well. Everyone, thank you very much for your time. Everyone, thank you very much for listening. Take care. God bless. And goodbye.
Yeah, bye.